So we find Adam and Eve as they have just been risen again from falling, to their grief at having to live within the cave instead of dwelling in the garden from which they have left. After having been risen again, they've come to begin to look upon their God, not just as their God, but as a great father and mother above in the sky, looking out for them. And they pray up to him, for Adam has a concern. For when they were in the garden, all of the animals were in service to him, and he had named them. But now Adam speaks up to God. Oh Lord, I fear that in your wrath for our transgressions, that you would send the wild beasts to us, and that you would allow them to come and maul us and carry us away. When we were in the garden, they were of service to us, but now I fear that they will come and devour us. The Lord heard Adam's prayer, and he went unto all of the animals and beasts of the field, and he commanded them to go to Adam and to be in service to him. And so they did as they were commanded, all except for the snake. For God did not command the snake, for still the serpent was within God's ire and wrath. And once the animals had come, and Adam and Eve were at peace with the harmony with which they lived with the beasts of the land, they prayed again up to God, asking about their vision. For when they had entered the cave, their eyes of flesh could no longer see the angels in heaven, could no longer see that which was divine. And God answered down to them that indeed, when they had been in the garden, they were of a brighter nature, had held a divine nature, and could see the energy of creation, but that when they fell to a life of flesh, their sight was reduced to only that which they could see within close range, and that of the earthly world that was in front of them. And so that divine sight was lost to them. And so it was upon this first day of dwelling outside the garden, they went walking out along the south side of the garden, looking up as they passed the western gate high ahead, longing, missing where they had dwelled. They could still see the fiery glow of the cherubim guarding the gate above. And as they came to the south side of the garden, they found the river that pours forth from the garden there. A great waterfall tumbling down the cliffside, running out before them across the land, and they could see out ahead where it split into the 4 rivers feeding out to the rest of the world. And Adam began to cry out. Angrily at Eve, he said, "Why? Why did you torment us so? Why did you make me transgress? Why did you bring all these sorrows upon us?" Eve was surprised. My husband, why? Why do you suddenly turn on me and say such things? Can you not see? Do you not understand? Do you not crave the water as I do? That is the water of life that pours from the tree of life itself and feeds the garden. When we lived there, we did not crave this water. And now I thirst for it. Everything has changed. And Eve realized that what he said was true. And they went together, wading out into the river, crying out in their sorrows. They could not live with this need and this thirst for this water anymore. They could not live in this creation anymore, and so they drowned themselves within the river. And God saw that they had fallen. And he sent one of his angels down, who went and pulled them from the water, dragging them up on shore and laying them out. And he went back up to heaven and informed the Lord they had indeed passed on. But God had not intended for his creations to be destroyed, and so he sent his word and lifted them up and raised them up again. And when Adam and Eve awoke, Adam cried unto the Lord, cursing this thirst, this craving that they had within. And God informed them that now that their divine nature had fallen, that as beings of flesh they would crave and need this water to drink of, to cleanse themselves, just as the other animals and beasts had needed the water when they were in the garden. And Adam begged of the Lord to let him go into the garden and see it but one last time. And God spoke unto Adam, I have given you my covenant, that in 5,500 years I shall send my word, and the pathway for your return shall come. And again, you will walk amongst the garden and return. But until then, you must live as you are.